Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your host and favorite realtors, Naya
and Lauren.
And we're so excited to be back with you all another week. We're going to get right into today's story.
Let's get into it. So this person wrote in and she is actually talking about her and her siblings and the issue that they're having with their parents' property and what to do with it. So a few months ago, my siblings and I inherited a house from our parents. It was a home we grew up in, so it held a lot of sentimental value for all of us. I have two brothers. We thought inheriting the house would bring us closer, but instead it created a lot of tension and disagreements. Initially, we all had different ideas with what we should do with the house. One brother wanted to keep it as a vacation home. The other brother wanted to sell it and split the money. And I thought we should rent it out for additional income. The differences in our opinions quickly led to arguments and hurt feelings. One of the first issues we faced was the cost of maintaining the house. The roof needed repairs, and there were other maintenance costs that we hadn't considered. We struggled to agree on how to split these expenses, and it started to feel like a financial burden rather than a blessing. Additionally, the process of managing the property became complicated. We all lived in different cities, making it difficult to coordinate decisions and responsibilities. Every time we tried to discuss the future of the house, it ended in a fight. The situation became so stressful that we stopped talking to each other for a few weeks. After months of frustration, we decided to seek advice from a real estate professional to find a solution that works for everyone. Yeah, so I get this because I have siblings. We have siblings too. We both got, it's like two brothers, and I have a sister and a brother. So I actually get this because I feel like my siblings will be fighting me on this, but I also wouldn't know what I would do in this situation. Like, when that time came, would I want to rent it out, or would I want to sell it or keep it as a vacation home? But they made some good points when they said that the maintaining the expenses.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to say the repairs, but yeah, the expenses. Just maintaining the house alone and keeping it, that can get costly.
Yeah, I think my first thought was like, oh no, we're keeping this. Like, buy and hold real estate is a long term. Like, I feel like my mind is generally like fixed to that. But as soon as they were talking about the cost of maintaining and different repairs, I was thinking, nope, sell it, scrap it, forget it, start over. So
just give everybody the money.
And there's one sibling that's thinking vacation home. There's one that's thinking rent it out. So, I mean, they're like almost on the same range, but not exactly.
Because you're not getting no money if you're doing a vacation home.
Vacation, yeah. They would need to do Airbnb so that it's like, consistent kind of turnaround.
Oh, you're thinking like that. I was thinking.
But she's saying like a long-term tenant, like, a year lease. But like they two could maybe find a common ground.
Well, I thought she was saying that the brother wanted it as a vacation home for them to just go vacation. But that makes sense. That would make sense for it's because that's the difference.
Maybe.
Because if it's just a vacation home, you ain't bringing no income. You don't have any money.
You need to know.
Right. That's off the table.
That's no option there.
Now, short-term rental or vacation rental, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he just said a vacation home. So, you got money like that to just be like, nobody needs to be paying my rent or anything. Okay. Hey, listen.
So then he's going to have to maintain it.
Right. That's how I feel. If you, as the brother, you want, but then they're all, right. I feel like he would have to maintain it for sure. But then now they don't get any money.
Yeah.
They're losing money.
So that's not a good option.
Unless it's paid off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless the house is paid off, then, but you could still be getting, might as well, I don't know, what would you do? What would your siblings do?
So I think, so my first thought is buy and hold and like rent it out for a long-term tenant. But Airbnb is also like booming. So depending on the location and the market, if Airbnb is a better option than like the traditional, year lease or 2-year lease tenant, then I would opt for Airbnb. Depending on the location. But if the roof repairs and other maintenance costs are, depending on what they are too costly, then I would just say s- sell it, split it, and then everybody can maybe just do what they want to do with
The money,
their
yeah.
portion.
And you can go buy yourself a vacation
Yeah,
home.
right.
And the
So he can
sister,
buy a vacation home. She can buy an investment property to rent out, and the other
right.
person, he gonna have his money that he wanted to.
Exactly. He the middle, like
Right.
he's like, I'm chilling.
He's like, I'm very clear on what I want to do.
And then y'all live in different cities.
Yeah. So they would have to
So-
have a property manager. They're like,
Right.
they can't even get the process of managing it right now, I guess, for repairs or whatever. So yeah, y'all need a property manager.
Right. What makes you think that you could
And a lockbox. Tell
And
that
a
contractor
lockbox.
what the code is and go in. It don't have to be complicated.
It don't. I'm like, what the hell?
just
What
need a
makes you
lockbox.
think that you can just like they? I don't know what makes them think that they could go ahead and keep the house as a rental or vacation home if y'all can't even do these two simple things.
Right.
And y'all all live in different cities. Sorry, but you said it. Y'all live in different cities, so managing it would be very difficult. Just simple decisions.
Yeah. And there's, they mentioned that it's difficult to coordinate decisions and responsibilities. Everything is 3 ways. It's simple.
Right.
So if it's the cost for the roof, that's split 3 ways. If it's whatever responsibility or decision, it's just a 3-way split. Everything 3 ways. Cost 3 ways.
Yep. It's better to just do it with the money. And I get it. It's the house you grew up in.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it. That's
Yeah, my first thought is to keep it.
It's to keep it.
But again,
yeah.
depending on location, and I guess maybe the market, like if it is a real prime opportunity to sell, then I guess, and maximize on the opportunity to get, a high return, even if it's split 3 ways, and do what you want with that return. Or if it's like, I don't know, but if it's booming and value can keep going up and you can do something else in the meantime, I'm a fan of that too.
I am kind of a fan of keeping it because my parents we were talking about this, and it was like, and I have a sibling. I'm the oldest, but I have, a younger brother and a younger sister. And, my parents are like, they're not planning to sell the house at all. They, I asked them like, oh, are y'all planning to sell and move to Maryland? My family, is in the tri-state area. So it's like, all right, do you want to let it go and then, maybe move to this area? And they're like, even if we do decide to move, to the DMV area, we're still keeping it and we want to hold it. And then I'm thinking like, dang.
So y'all just can't turn around and sell it then.
I know, because they're like, oh no, like we want to keep it for Aiden, which is my son. Like we want to keep it for the grandson. Like we want to keep it in the family. So why don't we rent it? I probably want mine renting it. I feel like if it's paid off, I probably want mine renting it out and maybe going ahead and hire a property manager.
Yes.
I don't know that my siblings would feel that way. And I don't know that I would fight them very hard on it. But like if it was in, like my parents wrote it in the will, or they wrote it something that was like, we really don't want you to don't sell this house. Maybe that probably would have been better. Yeah, because it's like, well, it's in the will. You got to go with that is, hey, we don't want to sell it. Or if they have it in writing somewhere, even if it's not in the will, and they're like,
but they said,
please don't sell. Yeah, please don't sell this house for another 10, 15 years, or at least, try to give it to Aiden, let him decide, or your grandkids, let them decide what they want to do with it. I think that would have been a lot helpful.
Yeah.
But you never know, when, parents' time, when that time is up. So sometimes people don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a hard conversation to have. And I don't know that I will mind either way. It's 3 of us. So majority rules to me, in my opinion. So not, I'm the oldest, so that's how it goes. I just don't work that way. It's like, if my brother and sister are like, nope, we're going to sell it, then I'm probably going to have to just go with the majority on that one and sell it. If me and my sister are like, we're going to keep it, then my brother's going to just have to fall in line and he's going to have to take his little cut from the rent that we get it. So I do think going ahead and doing like making it a majority rules that's how I would approach it if she came to me, because she said she's started to seek advice from a real estate agent to kind of see what worked, and I'm thinking what she did was maybe asking the realtor for numbers.
Yep.
Like how much would it be if we sold? How much would we net? How much could we rent it out for? And based on how much was already owed on the house, they can see how much they would get for it and how they can split it up. And then the siblings can all talk like, okay, we're going to split $50,000 a piece.
Right.
Or the realtor may say it's not a seller's market right now, so you're not going to get as much. Maybe you should wait in 1 or 2 years, but the rental market is hot. You will get
Right.
$3,000 or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like for it. So maybe that is a good way. Maybe that's why they
That's
reached out. Because
good.
I wasn't sure if like, do you reach out to a realtor? Do you reach out to a do you reach out to like a lawyer? Do you reach out to a mediator? Like who do you reach out to for situations like that when you can't figure out to sell a property or to like how
Yeah, I
for
think all
siblings?
three of those were good. I think, like you said, the realtor for the numbers, because numbers don't lie.
Don't lie, okay? And they speak a lot of
They,
volume,
they
okay?
speak very loud. So maybe all they need to see was the numbers, and then maybe they're actually all on board to sell it and split it. So you're right.
Give me
Let's
that
just look
money.
at the numbers before we get all excited, or
Right.
they're not talking to each other. Let's just look at the numbers, because the
Yeah.
numbers don't lie, and they might answer all the questions that they have.
That part. And then the like the roof and the repairs and stuff. If you're talking to a realtor, they're going to tell you, hey, you don't need to fix the roof, or hey, you don't need to necessarily put your money in here, or yes, you need to go ahead and fix the roof, but it is going to give you a return back on your investment. Even though you put in $10,000 for the roof, you may have be able to pay or increase the sale of the house a little bit more because they're getting a brand new roof. So it just depends on what your siblings are thinking, and hopefully y'all all on the same page. But what siblings are all on the same page?
Right.
Ain't no siblings ever on the same page. If y'all are, I need y'all to comment because I want to know what y'all are doing to make sure that y'all are always on the same page, because me and my siblings never. Okay,
That is funny.
ever. So you got and that's what I'm saying, the decision making process, majority rules, and mediation. That's what I'm wondering, like, do you go to, or maybe the realtor is the mediator, but I don't want to be
Yeah,
making that decision
you
for
are.
your family. Oh,
Well, first you're providing the numbers.
true.
Then you are just being a guide. And in guiding, you can be mediating at the same time.
That's true.
Here's the option if you do A, B, or C, and then
Okay, that's fair.
that's it.
Yeah. And then respect your siblings. We don't respect our siblings anyway because they're our siblings, we're just like whatever. Y'all know how we are with siblings, but I do think respecting their emotions when it comes to it, because all of y'all has lost a parent. So that's already emotion enough. So think about why your one sibling wants to hold on to the house. May not be just because, oh, I want it to be a vacation home or I want to rent it out. They may just feel very strongly about it. And it's like, this is the house we grew up in. So they may be very emotional about it. So just keep that kind of in the back of your head too, when you are, if you got to go through this with any of your siblings, like, all right, I do understand, because I can be very emotionless. So I do also have to remember, like, dang, we all did grow up in this house. We all did happen to lose parents. We happen to lose parents, and then now we're about to lose this house. That's a lot to lose in a very short amount of time. So just keeping that in the back of your head. And I'm saying this for me, y'all, too, just in case that ever happens. I need to make sure I have some type of emotion tied to it, so that I can understand where my siblings are coming from if they don't want to sell.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
yeah.
definitely very fair.
Yeah.
And then whatever they decide to do, if they sell it, whatever that is, what it is, that'll be a fairly easy transaction, because they know they're just going to split the proceeds. But if they decide to rent it, or short-term rental, whatever, get a property manager, whatever they do, they want to make sure that they have it written and documented. Maybe some sort of agreements on timelines.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to set a time when we come back to the table about 2-3 years after this tenant or whatever, revisit this and see what, if we want to keep doing this or do something different. But
yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
And for you saying like numbers don't lie, they don't. And I'm thinking like tax too. Like, get y'all a financial advisor or a financial planner, like not just the real estate agent. Yes, they can give you the numbers when it comes to the house. But talk to a financial advisor or financial planner that can also say, okay, this is how much taxes are going to come out because the house is worth this much, or because you're going to get this much back. You don't know if they're going to go ahead and take, from capital gains tax. You don't know if they're going to take taxes out, just depending on how the house was presented to you all and giving to you all. Like, if it's not in a trust, you just have to talk to a financial planner, because it may not make sense to sell it because it's not in a trust. So you may have to pay a lot of taxes on it, where you're like, wait a second, this is not worth it. So not only speaking to a realtor that can give you the information about the house and the numbers, but also a financial advisor or a tax accountant that can break down the taxes and maybe what you have to pay once you do sell that house.
Yep. That's good. That's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if y'all come across this with your siblings, it's definitely something to not make a rash decision with. You know, be mindful, be thoughtful, and take your time making decisions. Weigh all the options fairly, and hopefully, y'all can get on the same page about what's best for everyone. And then go from there.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for coming back and sticking with us for another episode and another week. We appreciate you. And don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, share, comment. You can follow us on YouTube. All of our visuals, all of our clips will be on Instagram, TikTok. And then you can listen to us on all the podcasts, your favorite podcast platform, definitely on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. So just go ahead and follow us, give us a little shout out, and we will see you guys next week.